Hi, I'm Jim Rowley, agronomist with LG Seeds. For this week's agronomy tip of the week, we're going to talk about tissue sampling and how that can help you identify deficiencies in your crop and what you can do to resolve that issue. As I approached the field, I noticed in the background the better corn was just about 50 feet away. Closer in, I could see in the foreground where the striping and other issues that were concerning to the grower appeared. You can see the striping here. You can see where the grower would have some hesitation as to how this crop is going to continue to develop if left unattended. First thing I do see some deficiencies in some of the lower leaves along with the striping. The striping to me indicates there could be some zinc deficiencies or otherwise, but right now at V8 we got some dramatic uptake of potassium developing here. Second thing is, why aren't we able to get it? Well, you see all the cracks that are developing in the soil. This is what we would consider timber soil here in central Illinois. Not one of our best soils. This particular portion of the field is suffering from multiple things. I'm going to dig some roots and we'll take a look at it. The grower wanted some tissue samples taken, and so I'll quickly take some samples here and I'll show you how that procedure is done. So here we are in the more prominent corn that's more developed than the corn that we first looked at. So I'm simply going to do some additional tissue testing here. I've already pulled it from the pore samples. This is going to give us a visual of what we do just to collect tissues for the good samples to be sent to the lab. So as we zoom in here, what I'm primarily looking for is the uppermost leaf that's developed, full collared here. And I'm optional here between the plant size. I could also take maybe the whole plant, but that's quite a bit to send off to the lab. So I'm taking the most advanced leaf below the growing point, or the whorl, so to speak. So I'm just going to collect about 15 samples here quickly, and then we'll submit those into the bag. And so here we are. I've got my sample bag made out from the lab, designating the field, the crop stage at V8, and we're just going to send in these good samples along with the bad samples. We'll compare them once we get the results back, and simply by taking the leaves, taking the 12-15 leaves, I'm just going to simply fold them up. I'm going to shove them in the sample bag, and then I will submit these via UPS to the lab, and they can do an analysis for us, and we'll find out what shortages may exist out here. And the reason we're doing this, and the growers asked me to do this, just so we can get an idea, at $5 corn, the dynamics are much different than if we were at $2 corn or $3 corn. So we want to get everything out of the crop that we can, and if that means some additional inputs, that's what we should do. Fast forward to the results from Midwest Labs after 5 days of processing. We see both a bad analysis on the top row and a good analysis on the bottom, showing how those plant samples responded. We can see across the board we're both deficient and low virtually every nutrient that was tested on this particular field. As mentioned previously, we did see probably some sulfur deficiencies, but more importantly, the boron and the zinc, which was showing up in the visual, certainly are showing up as deficient, and that can be problematic for this grower long term when it comes to yield. So I encourage the grower to respond here with some sort of either foliar feed or even a wide drop situation where they can add the necessary micronutrient packages along with their nitrogen program and sulfur to maximize the yield for this year. But long term, they will need to add and address the issue of this field's deficiencies. Keep your eyes open for your fields for any deficiencies. Make sure you understand what's going on with your field, the good things, the bad things. We'll do some root digs as well to find out maybe if there's some other issues here. I'll compare the soil test results from last fall to see if those other areas are deficient, and we'll address this and have this ready for the next go around of corn crop.